folks. Welcome, welcome. Be getting started in a couple of minutes. Can go ahead and enter in our giveaways for today. Alright, it's 1 o'clock, so time to get things started. Welcome again, everyone. I'm Black6 from BZPower, and today we're building a couple of LEGO Ninjago sets. One is a fairly recent one, got Woo's Battle Dragon. I think this was ended up being from last year, right, from 2020? Yes. So this is from last year's season of the show, where the ninjas had to go claim these swords, which you get one of here. Looks like an interesting mold, and help a couple of, I guess, tribes overthrow their oppressors. Which is pretty good arc, I thought. And on the back, they're very simple back of the box art here. Just the dragon, minifigs, and a little thing showing the bowcaster shooting action. I mean crossbow. And then we've got a slightly older set, the Oni Titan from 2018, so a couple seasons before our Battle Dragon. But also kind of interesting because, like, while the events of like this story were going on, Wu and the other ninjas were in the realm where this ended up taking place. They're kind of connected to each other. We've got a cool, mecha-looking thing. We've got Lloyd and Nia and Harumi and Garmadon, so some nice minifigs in here as well. I'm interested to see how it comes together and how much kind of posability they incorporate. Usually not enough for most Bionicle fans, but we'll find out. And on the back, see quite a bit more along the bottom of the back here, but we've got a nice kind of top-down shot, makes it look a little taller. On the bottom, we can see this is 10 inches tall. It's got a disc shooter on, I guess, both wrists, and some other actions. So it looks like the sword can kind of go in a scabbard on the hip of the Titan, and you can have some epic battles there. So, alright, we're going to start with our little set here that is, I believe, still available. 321 parts, retails for $20. Pretty good value right there from a price per part ratio. So let's go ahead and open it up and get going. Hey there, Oroki. Good to see you. Alright, so we've got 3 bags. We've got our wing plastic pieces, nicely folded, but thankfully it folded right down the middle, so the wings themselves don't seem like they're going to be too messed up. This is interesting. Little kids go free for Legoland resorts, parks, and discovery centers. I haven't seen one of these in a Lego set in a while. Have I built Zane's Titan mech yet? No, I have not. I thought that was the sticker sheet, but apparently there are no stickers in this set, because we just have the instruction book. Yeah, this is actually like the first Ninjago set I've built in a good bit. I think since the Ninjago City Gardens. It might have been the last time I built a Ninjago set. I definitely know, I think we did a review. Yeah, we did a review of that set. I want to say Pat DVD did that, and I know a lot of people liked it, including him, had a very positive review. Alright, get our webcam ready here. Alright, let's get building here. I did want to switch this and actually have our good camera be like the close-up one, but I need to get a USB extension cable at some point in order to make that happen. Alright, so starting out with our Sensei Wu, I guess they call him Hero Wu on this. Slight spoiler to the Ninjago TV series. Wu kind of goes back in time and becomes a baby and then ages rapidly. So at this point, even though he's got the beard, let's see if that wants to focus. Alright, we'll switch back real quick so we use the good cam. So he's got like a younger look to his face, even though he has the beard, and he actually has like a ponytail on the back and some nice printing on the torso and legs. And yeah, so he's definitely got a little bit of spring in his step that he's been lacking, and of course he's got his hat. Got a staff, a couple of 3 long bars, and a gunmetal lightsaber hilt. He's looking up at you. Yeah, no, a lot of people were excited with Zane's mech, especially because it has actual knees, which is something that a lot of LEGO mechs do not have, for very practical reasons generally, for like stability and playability. It's like, yes, an AFOL can build a creation that has knees, and like tons of range of motion. But then, you know, you go to a LEGO convention and you watch those same AFOLs setting up those creations, and you see like them cringe every time someone bumps a table. I don't know, is Arion in the chat? He knows all about bumping those tables and knocking over people's mocks because their knees and legs just aren't quite as strong. As would be up to LEGO's quality standards for something that, you know, kids can play with. So while it can be done, it tends to be difficult. And so I'm glad that they found a way with that Titan mech. Yeah, I guess he hasn't graced us with his presence there, Oroki. Oh well. Good times at Brick Fair. some nice gold accents coming in, very nice and shiny. So I guess, is this the tail that we're starting, or is this part of the neck? It looks like this is going to be part of the neck. So we've got our first joint in place, just a bar and clip hinge here, but it is attached to a mixel joint. So what's been going on in pop culture recently that we can talk about? Ooh, this is cool. So we got this classic camera piece, right? Been around for ages, and we're attaching this as this is gonna be like the neck with one of these bars with the mixel ball joint. And we're inserting that into there, and so that will be able to clip in for the head. Dune came out this past Thursday. I saw that. That was pretty fantastic. As someone who read the books last year, I think I started last year when the movie was supposed to come out last year. It's one of those ones I had never gotten around to, and the movie was looking just like so amazing. I'm like, all right, I need to get off my butt and read these. And I am curious. I haven't looked at any of like the kind of press coming out about the film yet. I'm curious to see what audiences think, like especially people who did not read the books, because I feel like it could be a little hard to follow for some people. I have read, I think, all of the ones that Frank Herbert wrote. I've not read any of the ones his son and Kevin J. Anderson did yet. So definitely gets very, very interesting and very weird. I would say in general I enjoyed them, but there are some that I can see like are not to everyone's liking. And this head's getting pretty intricate here. I like the use of that medium blue jumper here for the eyes. Yeah, it's interesting because I've been a fan of Kevin J. Anderson for a long time now. Like I got into his stuff when he was doing like Star Wars books back in the day. That's how I first discovered him. I read a bunch of his other original fiction over the years. I knew he was doing Dune stuff, but I never got around to reading any of it. And I'll get there eventually. There's no shortage of books to read. One thing watching the film did remind me of is like some of the issues I had, even with the book originally. There's a couple like story moments, and it's like, wait, why did the characters do that? And they captured that well in the film. They accurately portrayed those head scratching moments to me, and I think overall it was a very good adaptation, right? Like they had to change some things in order to fit in a movie, but I think those were all very understandable changes. And overall, it was very solid. As someone who read the books, like again, like if you have not read these books, I'm very curious to see what your reaction would be to the film, because there's so much, like there's so many things like you see in the film that they don't actually address. I'm like, oh, they didn't even use the word mentat at all in the film. It's like that's such a huge part of like the lore and stuff. All right, so we've got a dragon. It's got a head. I really like using these cow horns as these eyebrows, like eye ridges, I guess. They give it like a really nice organic flow. And thanks to his mixel joint, has some good posability here. All right, now we're working on the tail. And yeah, I'll probably keep reading the books eventually. In publication order, kind of determined, for me personally, in most cases, I would rather read things in publication order than like a chronological order, because that's where they tend to make the most sense. Right, because that's how they're written, and like things that were designed to be revealed in a certain way then get revealed in the same way to you. So I'm trying to stick with that. So if the Butlerian Jihad ones didn't get a very good reception, well, I'll probably read those anyway, just for the full effect. Alright, got the start of a tail, all mixel joints, so lots of posability. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like why go halfway at that point? And yeah, so after I read the main books, again the ones written by Frank Herbert, I did watch the 1984 film, which was very crazy, not very good. Although some of the casting they got in that, there's like a young Patrick Stewart when he actually had some hair left, or younger, I guess, and some other great actors, maybe not given their best performances or best rating. And then I watched the Sci-Fi Channel series from the late 90s, early 2000s. Which definitely weren't perfect, especially because of the effects, special effects at the time. But they still existed. They were better than the 1984 film, that's for sure. Did the best with what they had. Ooh, we got our special sword here. Looks like it's dual molded with black and white plastic to get, especially to get that little symbol on here. You can even see like there's a little bit of black plastic that goes into the white. You can kind of see that bleeding through a little bit. That's understandable. I really love how detailed. Let me switch back to the main camera off to show off just how detailed that skull is on the hilt. That's pretty crazy. just actually finished the latest Star Wars book yesterday, based on the anime series that came out, Star Wars Visions. So this is it's kind of a continuation of the first episode, Ronin. And man, there's a lot that we did not know about that character. I mean, he's a very mysterious character in the episode, but they really take that to some new levels in this book, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was like Star Wars, but not Star Wars. I guess that is to say that, you know, clearly had a Star Wars feel to it, but for the most part, it's, you know, not. There's no characters from the films or anything you're gonna recognize in there. But there's, like, you know, there's lightsabers, there's the Force, all that kind of good stuff. But in like a kind of completely different universe with its own set of rules, and I thought that was really interesting. I would love to see more stories in that universe, like this bright green feather / flame piece. It's kind of cool. I'd like to see them just kind of do more Star Wars stuff like that in general, I think. They've done some stuff like that with, there's like maybe 3 books or so now, like Myths and Fables, and there's like a Tales from the Dark Side, I think, where they're like supposedly like these legends within the Star Wars universe, so they can kind of take some liberties with the canon and don't have to follow the rules exactly, but can still be like a very Star Wars-y story. And yeah, I really enjoyed that, kind of just like seeing something different but still very Star Wars. I know they did that a bit more, I feel like, with the expanded universe back in the day. There's still like a lot of those books that I have never gotten around to reading. Someday. Alright, so got these 4 clips here. Kind of create a slot that the sword fits in, and it's not going to fall out forward or backwards. It can just kind of go in and out there. Alright, with that done, now we're back to the dragon, making some limbs. And so now that I finished the latest Star Wars book, now I'm starting the latest Halo book, because I am a nerd. I think probably once I catch up on some of the Star Wars and Halo stuff, maybe I'll go back into Dune. There are so many books a little time. I'm finding like reading some Neil Gaiman more recently, past couple of years, been really enjoying that. So lots of great books out there to read. It is readily becoming apparent that the reason this set has 321 parts, but it's only, I believe, $20, is because all of those parts are very small. Lots of small like clips and cheese slopes, little mixel joints. this is interesting. So you've got this piece on a clip. I was wondering why there's these two exposed clips here. We actually have a white battle droid torso that we're putting in between to kind of keep it at a certain angle. So it kind of gives it a dynamic pose, but also some stability. So it'll be able to support its own weight, I guess. I'm sure some people, myself included, I guess, would probably have appreciated it if it had kept, some more posability, but I guess that wasn't in the cards. This is a cool little technique here, using the 1x2 rounded plate that has the 318 holes in the studs, but we're actually using it inverted. So we're putting those little claw pieces into the bottom of it, and they can still clip in there just fine. So got our front legs. Really loving how this, how the dragon is coming together so far. All right, even though not every joint has full posability, it's still got quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of little snot plates or snot brackets and stuff. All right, we've got like the 1x2 snot brackets, a lot in the tails. The legs had some of the 1x1 snot brackets, some of the 1x2s. Lots of mixel joints, cheese slopes, lots of fantastic pieces here. All right, the other leg, I already did that. Little wedge plates and stuff too, lots of clips and bars. Lots of very useful pieces for sure. Just a shame that all the mixel joints are still color locked. Maybe someday. Getting back to Dune, I am very curious to see if they do end up making the sequel, because it has not been confirmed by any means so far, even though in the film, right, it opens and it says Dune Part 1. But they have not officially announced that they're making Part 2 yet. I feel like that was gonna probably butcher the name, but Denis Villeneuve's idea of like, all right, I'll do this, and then I'll have no choice but to make a part 2. Although I'm sure, I guess Warner Brothers, I think it was the production company, will certainly say no if they want to say no. They are the ones with the pocketbook. So hopefully hit the box office mojo tomorrow and see some good things about Dune's performance this weekend. Because it is based on only the first half of the first book. So I feel like they found a good point to break it up, but it is hardly the whole story there. Although at least the first book can stand on its own pretty well. It definitely is a standalone narrative. And the other ones just kind of add to that and make it grow. Alright, got our back legs, which actually do have 3 points of articulation. And our dragon can stand up on his own now. Alright, on to the last bag for our dragon, and then we'll do our first giveaway. So we've got our second minifig, Gleck. Can't remember what his species was called. He's kind of like a little cave troll dude. He's got a double-sided head. We'll show off the minifigs better at the end. We switch back to the main camera. And he's got a bowcaster. Stolen from the Wookiees. Alright, we need some space here to work on the wings. Good old A-frame plate. I feel like that first originated in Ninjago many years ago at this point, but has been very useful ever since. So any other good media that's been coming out recently that people have been enjoying? I have not hopped on the Squid Game bandwagon yet, although it certainly got high on my list after how popular it's been getting. But I was finishing up the latest season of the Australian LEGO Masters that aired earlier this year that I'd never gotten around to watching. So I watched that finally. Very awesome. Got some amazing builders over there. And continue to impress with some of the mechanics that they put into the show that I really hope the US adopts more of in future seasons. And finally, finishing up, I'm only like 15 years too late, the last season of The Sopranos. And after that, I'll be looking for something new to watch, so probably hop on to Squid Game at that point. In addition to like other shows coming out, right? We've got Hawkeye coming up. I think Star Trek Discovery is coming back soon, so I'll definitely be watching that. So this is interesting. We've got both black and red 2-length axles in this set. Looks like the black ones are there because that part is going to be slightly exposed because we're attaching it to a 1x1 cone piece. Alright, so if we put the cone on the red axle, you'll still be able to see a little bit of red. So instead, put that on the black axle to hide it. Although I feel like that hasn't stopped them from doing that in the past by any means, so I mean, I'm glad they did it this time around. Always nice getting more black 2-length axles. Alright, wings are really starting to take shape there. Alright, so we've got some very bony looking wings here. They've got a clip and bar connection and a click hinge connection to give them a little bit of, I guess, double friction. So they have some posability. But also not going to flop down out of whatever position you choose to put them in. Pretty easy popping them out of here, and it's very kind of impressive just how detailed of an edge they have on here. I feel like that's not something we've seen in these sort of wings in the past, at least not in any sets I have gotten. And the plastic seems a little different than it usually does. Wonder if this is made out of plant-based or other recycled plastic or not. Alright, so I grab the wrong one. This one. Yeah, does this line up on here? Probably help if I look at the right one on the instructions there. Like that, okay. I thought I had to line up with this stud there, but it does not. And then we're using these little inkwell pieces, 1 by 1 round plate with the bar, and 5 of those to hold the plastic piece in place. I don't know if it's an issue with this piece of plastic or what though. I've got like a bit of a bump that's formed on here. I guess can try to push it down a little bit. All right, I guess that works. Rather a bump down than a bump out. We've got a lopsided dragon. Let's see how it lines up on this one. Alright, we've got ourselves a dragon. Not quite done yet, he needs a saddle. So Hero Woo can fly him around. I think we are far enough. I can put up our giveaway link. Maybe. All right. It's interesting, this saddle we're assembling only connects via 2 studs, so it can be, I guess, fairly easily removed. Look at that, he even bends down to make it easier for Woo to get up on there to ride. It was not an accident at all. Oh, he's even got some reins. chain pieces. Alright, and that is it for this set. Alright, so let's take a look. Take a look at our minifigs again. So we already kind of got a look at Wu earlier. And then we've got, what is this, Gleck. So we've got Gleck here. He's got some short, dark brown legs and a nicely printed purple torso. And he's got like an angry expression. And on the other side, a very surprised expression. And so there are some little clips behind the saddle. So I guess you can like split Wu's staff in half and put it on there. Although you can't have it go down too far. At least not stably. Okay. Can he actually grasp the reins here? If he leans forward enough, he can get one hand on them. Alright, let's take off our picture-in-picture there. So here is our dragon. Definitely looks like a dragon, so there's one thing in favor of it. Oh. If you move the neck too much, the reins do pop out. I'm looking at the image. Okay, so they should actually show him standing up on the box. Double checking to make sure I attach this in the right spot. I think if you have him standing up, it's going to be even harder to hold the reins. Although at least at that point, Wu's going to come off the saddle rather than pop his hand off the reins. But see, you do have to be careful with like moving the neck too much. It's gonna mess with Wu on there. But beyond that first neck joint, he does have two mixel joints on his neck, giving him some good posability there. The tail has one clip hinge, but the rest are all mixel joints. So you have, again, some very good posability. If we fold the wings up a bit, so you can see the legs. So the front legs are only movable at the shoulder and wrist. They are mixel joints, but they are attached in such a way that they really only have one axis of freedom here. They can only go forward and backwards. The back legs do have 3 points of articulation at the hip, I guess the upper ankle, and then the toes. They encourage you to fold it back like that so that the weight pushes the back of the foot into, I guess, the hip there, so it can kind of support its own weight. As we saw earlier when I was pushing down on the dragon, the front legs like to go down, so you do have to be a little careful with that. But once you've opposed in a position you like, I think it should be pretty fine and pretty sturdy. And then also have our little sword holder thing. Very simple design. We'll take a closer look at the sword now, like I said we would. But that is some really detailed molding on the pommel there with that skull. Very scary, like a little like dark for a Lego Ninjago set, I feel like. But still cool. I mean, I like it, right? I'm just like, do parents want their kids buying like Lego sets or buying their kids Lego sets with skulls on them? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, so that is Wu's Battle Dragon. Definitely recommended for only 20 bucks. Very solid little set with some great parts, as Matt was mentioning in the chat. All right. So let's go ahead and get ready for our second set of the day. Update our overlays there. Alright, and then turn off our giveaway link. And find out who our first winner is going to be. Hey, Makuta Laroka, congrats. You've won a Death Trooper buildable figure. The other drill will be getting in touch with you to get you that prize. We've got a bunch of stuff to send you with the Binalog stuff and the convention circuit stuff, so we'll probably just hang on and package that all up together. Alright, so now, moving on to our second set for today, the Oni Titan. 522 parts, retailed for $50 when it was available. Still kind of features the Ninjago movie versions of the ninjas and Garmadon down there. But also has Harumi, I believe that, yes, Harumi. So let's go ahead and open this up. Excuse me, awesome dragon. Here's a perch on top of your box there. But yeah, one final thing in favor of the dragon set is no stickers. I don't think it needed any for anything. You know, so it was a very good set design that did not require any stickers. This set does have some stickers, but only 3 stickers, so it's not too bad at all either. Alright, so we've got 4 numbered bags of parts here. 1 instruction booklet, slightly folded. And yeah. Open these up and then switch to our build camera. Definitely some much bigger bags of parts than the other set. It's got, I guess, almost twice as many parts as the dragon, but clearly a lot of them are much larger. Looks like we've got Nia and Lloyd in the first bag. Oh, we do have a brick separator. Thank goodness. There's still some space here in my lovely Brick Fair mug. Brick Fair, Alabama, coming in January. Maybe I'll see you there. I mean, I'll definitely be there, but maybe you will be too. got another little baggie in here with a bunch of little weapon parts. These are not as easy to open usually, for whatever reason. There we go. Alright, I think before I switch to the build camera, since we're still on the main one, I will build our ninjas so you can look at them on the main screen. We've got Lloyd's body here. Some pretty nice printing, kind of busy, I feel like. A little bit of back printing. Wanted to show that off before we cover it up with a bracket there. And then he's got dual-sided head. I think we've seen it several times since the Lego Ninjago movie. I need to go back and look at some past. I just realized I put that neck bracket on backwards. Darn it. It's a chest bracket now. Did he always have the green eyes, or is that like a later addition? I feel like they became very prominent in the Ninjago movie time frame. Alright, and he actually gets our first sticker here. He's got like a, I don't know, like a battle flag or something going on. Yeah, I don't remember him having this in the show. It's kind of an interesting design there. I guess it's something for the ninjas, since there's no real scenery or weapons or stuff for them. Alright, so we've got Nia with her gunmetal torso. Again, very busy. She's got a serious angry face and a serious angry face. Also a very serious looking weapon. I'm really not sure how you use this in battle without hurting yourself. Lots of training. Okay. Now we can switch to our build camera. Get started with some lovely pale yellow. and some teal. A whole bunch of colors that we don't see in the final build. Some Metro blue here. Or earth blue, as some might call it. I hate when an instruction book gets folded and then it just keeps like trying to make it very difficult for you to read the pages because of said fold. Got our first click hinge, or click joint piece, Exoforce joint, which I always associate those pieces with. I think that might be the hips of the Titan. It's got some very narrow hips, if that is the case. Quite a bit of transparent parts coming into play. Got some trans blue and some trans purple underneath. Got to put in some more trans blue elements. Not something that was readily apparent on the box. And maybe they're not going to be readily apparent in the final model either. It's kind of interesting to note that they're there. Maybe these joints are the hips, and those are the shoulders. And there are these studs here. No, looking at the box, those are definitely his skinny, skinny hips. snot brackets in here of various sizes. Which is going to make sense because we're kind of building things studs up, but then eventually it's going to stand up. And so now the studs are going to be going every which direction, which is always a good thing. Cover up those bright primary colored bricks on the inside core. Giving him some rocky details on the one side there. Assume we're going to do that on the other side. I just wasn't sure if it was going to be perfectly symmetric from side to side there, so it was though. Kind of getting some spaceship vibes from it. Could be like swoosh, swoosh. Oh, microphone, you're getting really annoying. Then I say that and it stops. I'll take it. Oh, we do have some asymmetry here on the shoulder pieces. Thought I could do them both at once. I was like, no, what are you thinking? Alright, so yeah, some slight asymmetry on the shoulder here. It's got like a tree root or something coming out on the side and some slightly different colored pieces. time for the last 2 stickers. So, get all of them out of the way in the first bag. Alright, time for bag 2. So looks like it's going to build us some legs. And also Harumi. Oh, we've got some CCBS parts. Back before a lot of them got kind of phased out. Do not see many of them in sets these days, sadly. All right, we will take a closer look at Harumi at the end. She's got some red face paint on her eyes, pair of red katanas to match. She's both the adopted princess of Ninjago. It's one of those weird things where it's like, hey, we know we haven't mentioned anything about like the politics of Ninjago this entire time, but all of a sudden, hey, there's a king and queen and a princess. And then of course they write it so it's like, yeah, they're very, very private, very secretive. That's why you haven't heard much of them until now. Just go with us. Go with it. But then it turns out she wants to bring Garmadon back. So yeah, she first appeared in the Sons of Garmadon arc, which I guess was right before whatever arc this one was. I did catch up on Ninjago earlier this year, last year sometime, and watched all this arcs, but I have not seen any of this year's episodes yet, I don't think. Oh, here we go, some more construction sort of parts, some ball sockets. Maybe not as nice as pure CCBS parts. But hey, better than nothing, I suppose. Because that seems to be what we're getting for the most part these days. His legs are definitely shaping up to be very solid. Between the snot brackets along the side, building up the bottoms now. I guess the backs of the legs. Actually going through a lot of effort to make the back of the legs look good, even. I feel like these are usually an area where they kind of run low on their budget. But here we're using inverted tiles and curve slopes to give it a nice smooth look on the back. So many props to the designers there, and to anyone else involved in getting that through the acceptance process and getting that in the actual sets. Some interesting texturing on the sides here at these 1x2 cheese slopes. So I think this is actually going to come into play. We've got the 2x2 round plate here, which has an axle hole in it. And on top of that, we're putting a 2x4 Technic plate, which has a pin hole in there. I think we're actually going to attach something using those connections. Because we're keeping that through hole there with more of these Technic plates. When we could have easily just as used a normal plate. Yeah, keep it now. Got the axle there. Here's an interesting piece. I want to say this was first used in Minecraft. It's like, what, like a 2x2 plate. And it's got a stud in the center, kind of like a jumper. But then you got the corners cut off, and it's got this like tile height, plate height ridge on there. It was used in like mine tracks in Minecraft, like for mine carts and stuff. Alright, yeah, we've got these big dishes that we're putting a Technica axle in, and that will allow us to attach these. I guess these are like the kneecaps here. Some friction extenders for the ankles later on. Now I get to attach. All right. Doesn't stand quite yet, but he's getting there. I assume. Now we're making the feet. And interestingly, the legs and now the feet are identical and interchangeable. There's no, they're all, I guess, perfectly symmetric. This looks like an interesting assembly here for the feet to, I guess, give them some friction so they don't slide around. So we got this 1x2 brick with a Technic pin that we're putting a 1x1 beam on. And on top of that, we're putting a tire. And that's going in the sole of the foot to give it some friction so it can't move as easily. Very cool little design there. Alright, so we're just about done with the feet. So I'm going to go back, put up our giveaway link. so there is the foot. It's got that tire in there for some friction. And so pull back a little here. He stands. They want you to give him like a little wider stance for some additional stability. And it doesn't just slide around, you gotta actually pick him up to move him because there's the friction in the feet there. So yeah, he's coming along quite nicely. Feels nice and solid. Stand him up there. And then we'll go ahead, open up our third bag, and then pick our second winner for today. Alright, Woomy World. Congratulations, you've won a Baze Malbus buildable figure. We'll get in touch, get you your prize. Alright, so looks like we're doing the head, the upper arms, and a bit of his like battle skirt thing. But also, we've got another minifigure. Good old Garmadon. Is he good? Is he bad? Who knows? So it definitely looks very similar to the version we saw in the Lego Ninjago movie. Possibly some slightly different printing there. Yarr. Because we all know Garmadon is a pirate, so he makes yarring noises. Oh, he needs more weapons. Those were not enough. I mean, I suppose I probably should have known. Any amount of weapons is not enough for Garmadon. So not only does he have a giant robot, I guess not a robot, a giant creature monster at his beck and call. He also has more swords than our two ninjas in this set combined. kind of cool. Not something you see all the time in a Lego set. Oh, whoops, probably the last one was supposed to have some stuff attached to it. I think it's supposed to be like a tree branch or something. I guess that's the second time we've gotten some like tree motifs on here, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit more. Oh, we're actually going to do right now. Coming out of the back of his shoulder. So you've got like this piece here. Alright, so a lot of snot work going in on the head here. He's got a printed piece for the eyes. Kind of makes a nice rounded looking head. And then he gets a lovely hat. He's watching you. All right. Time to work on the upper arms. Trying to look a little bit at the instructions. See if they are identical or not. Looks like they're similar, but I'm not sure they are perfectly identical, so I guess we'll do them one at a time. one lower arm. We'll attach them both at the same time. Oh, no, these seem like they were pretty much identically built. You pulled one over on me, Lego. Gave me enough asymmetry. In other spots I was scared you're gonna do to me again. Alright. So let's pop these on. Hey there, lover of sandwich. Good to see ya. It's time for the last bag, which looks like it's primarily just the hands. Oh, and I guess his swords too. His large katanas. Alright, let's pull back down to ground level. Oh, I'm seeing some differences between the two hands, but also thinking, you know, fool me once, shame on me. Or what was it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So yeah, we're gonna try to build both of these hands at once. See how long it takes to backfire. So using these lovely little pieces to attach the fingers. Try to give them some decent posability. Although the hand is based on a 4x4 plate, so kind of limited a little bit in the posability and finesse that it has. think this little Technic connector here, with this pin, is how the Katanas are going to attach in the Titan's hands. Feeling like this may be one of those areas where things get a little asymmetric. Guess I can always just take apart one of them. Yeah, I can't see this part on the front of the box, sadly. Alright, now for the disc shooter assemblies that go on the top. Using this lovely 1x4 piece. Oh, and here we are running into a discrepancy. We ran out of 1x2 slopes in dark gray, so I assume we have to use this olive green. The question is, are they this way or are they supposed to be swapped? Oh, we got some cheese slopes as well. That may very well be in a different order on the other side. I'm just gonna keep being symmetric about them, and then, hey, there's always a brick separator if it doesn't work out. A plunger mechanism for the disc shooters. So it's kind of interesting here where it is very much symmetric, or I guess not symmetric, where it is identical. Because those are the only wedge plates you got, so they have to be the same on both sides. Here's one difference I can definitely see between the two, is the coloring on the fingers. At least I can see where they differ. So at least that part I won't have to fix later on. can see, thanks to those pieces, you can flex his fingers out a little or move them all together. So it's kind of a little bit of nice posability there. Let's hope the box artwork is actually accurate. Oh, interesting. Ran out of cheese slopes. So there's one on that hand, but not necessarily on the other. And the thumbs attach with a mixel joint to give it a little bit of opposability. Alright, so we can attach the right hand. And now back down to see how much we messed up the left hand. Alright, so that is accurate. That's accurate. Oh, I got these two slopes backwards though. But that part was good. Ah, so that should have been a round tile. So that we can do that. That was pretty close, considering I was kind of just guessing at where things would be. All right, and he's got two hands. And now last, but not least, are his giant katanas. Oh, plus the discs for the disc shooter. Can't forget those. Every part of that little baggie with those silver weapons. Right there. Alright, there's nowhere to store the extra ammo, sadly. Alright. Looks like that is going to be it. So let's go ahead, put up our giveaway link. And switch over there. So, yeah, so this little bone or tree branch thing is actually meant to hold the swords in here when you don't want him to be holding them. So it's a really cool little feature. works quite nicely. I think it looks pretty great. Right, so you can kind of balances in the hand pretty well. And he's looking very imposing. I was commenting on how his hips seem kind of narrow earlier, but once you add like the treads on here, I think it covers it up pretty good and makes him look, he has some pretty decent proportions. So then he's got these disc shooters in the arms that are using these 2x2 round tiles with a through hole. Obviously you could use any sort of 2x2 round tile on there. And then once you load that up, you can push on this Technic axle. I have no idea where that went. Now it's a dark gray. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I mean, I guess it works all right. Let me actually watch how it fires instead of trying to look at the camera while I do it. So yeah, it has some good force behind it. All right, let's see how holding the swords works. All right, he's got these little Technic connectors in here. So you slide that on there and then grip the fingers. The sword's definitely not going to go anywhere. And while his hands are a bit on the large side, I feel like they hold them pretty well. And he does have some good posability. I mean, like he has the shoulder joint and then kind of like a wrist elbow combined. But it does give him like a good amount of movement depending on what pose you're trying to get. And then the legs can go in and out and also forward and backward. And then the ankles are on a ball joint, so you can even have him like stepping forward a little bit. Although he does get very unsteady very quickly when you do that. And the way the ankles are designed with this thing means that ankles can't go forward very far, they can go back much further, so it does make it a little difficult in posing him in a standing position. There we go. And the head is on a ball joint, but the shoulders do limit the posability there somewhat. I would say all in all, looks pretty great. I like how there's a little bit of asymmetry here and there. I would probably have liked it to be a little more, right? That would have made the build take a little longer, but that's certainly not an issue, right? I'd rather the build take a little longer and have him be a little more unique there. All right, and now that we're on the main camera, we can take a closer look at Garmadon with all his weapons. Of course, he uses the two different torso pieces, like a normal minifig torso, and then the special torso piece that has that kind of flap that goes down in the front to cover the second one. And then he's got just a little bit of back printing on there. So yes, solid fig, like I said, pretty similar to the movie version. And then we've got Harumi with her katanas, and she's got a two-sided head with a very angry expression on the other one. Hey there, Box Commander. Made it just in time for the end of the stream. And then again, we've got Lloyd with his weird banner thing that I don't remember being in the TV show, but maybe it was. And last but hardly least, we've got Nia with her very dangerous looking blade. So yeah, definitely a solid set. Maybe a little expensive at $50, although I guess, you know, it does have 522 parts. There's a good variety, you know, different click hinges, lots of different slopes. your normal like 45 and 30-degree slopes, but also curved slopes as well. Definitely some good click hinges. One thing I didn't really show off was his back, which the main torso, you know, it's very anti-stud heavy, which isn't a bad, you know, not horrible. You're not going to be looking at the back that much. It could be a lot worse. I do really like how they cleaned up the back of the legs, though. The back of the upper arms, you know, a little ugly, but the hands overall are pretty solid. So pretty good all around as far as a figure goes. And then, quick refresher, we've got Wu's Battle Dragon with Gleck, with our cool little sword in its little kind of shrine thingy. And then, whoosh, the dragon itself. Definitely the star of today's build. Lots of posability thanks to the mixel joints in the head, in the tail, in the arms and legs a little bit, not as much posability there. And then the wings can't go down very far, which is a little unfortunate. That's as far down as they go, but they can go up a good bit. But for $20, definitely a very solid set there. Alright, so that was our build for today. I think we've got one more winner to pick. Let's go ahead and turn off that giveaway link. Let me get a drink of water. Alright. Let's see which of our 11 entrants will be our lucky third winner. Dollar, congratulations. You are our third winner for today, winning a Chirrut Imwe buildable figure from the always awesome Rogue One film. So yeah, that was our build for today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I know I did. Big thank you to LEGO for sending us Wu's Battle Dragon. The Titan, Oni Titan was from my own collection, but LEGO sent us the dragon, which starred the show, so many thanks to LEGO for that. Yeah, we do still have a few hundred Star Wars figures to give away. We're not done with those just yet. I feel like we're getting there, though. I haven't actually looked to see about how many of them we give away per year, but the number has dwindled quite heavily. But I think we still got at least enough for 2022, hopefully. So yeah, I think that'll be it. We'll probably be back maybe in a couple weeks. I'm gonna look at the calendar real quick. What is today? Yeah, so we should be back in 2 weeks on either the 6th or the 7th in November for our next stream, and figure out what we're going to be building then. I think we've got a few possibilities. Maybe we'll post some pictures of them on Instagram and let you guys decide what you would like to see us build next. So thank you all for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. I'll be posting on YouTube in case you missed any of it. And until next time, keep on building, stay safe, get vaccinated or wear a mask, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone, and see you next time.